This is the chalk cat I gave the day off to because she's been working awful hard. We were getting this thing prepared to go in the mold last night. The mold is ready for it. And I got to looking at it real close. It had a bunch of more holes in it. And I didn't want to mix up epoxy because I've done filled these holes probably 3 or 4 times. This thing has been my nightmare on the bottom. Knowing me and on what I do, I don't like to let something go. The bottom has got to be just as nice, just about as nice as the top, but not quite. And I figured I wasn't going to do epoxy, so I went to my stash and pulled out my 2-part epoxy clay made by LabX Creations. You can buy it online, which they don't tell you this stuff on these YouTube videos on this filler. They'll tell you about the burn stick, but this stuff works and you just have to let it set overnight. It can't be put in and it's ready to go like the burn stick. So I mixed this up this morning and I laid it in the holes that were really bad. It was simple to use. You mix it up. It's 2-part, it's yellow and black. You really have to mix it good together, and once you mix it, I roll it, when I put the 2 together, I roll it in a ball and then I roll it out like I'm doing dough till it gets solid black, and that's the color you get in this stuff, is solid black. It's not any other color, so make sure if you want to use it, it's going to be black. So you need to make sure you understand that part. And then it'll take 24 hours to set up. In the morning, I'll sand it and then put it in the mold, but it's turned out really well. I'm getting tired of working on this thing. I'm ready to get on the big boy. It's been a job at hand. It really has been, but this stuff is great for you folks out there that don't know about it. Y'all want to learn to do some of this kind of type work. It's 2-part epoxy, clay, A and B, and when it gets hard just like epoxy, but it's got to sit up 24 hours and it has to be mixed good together. And we're going to have this thing ready in the morning to take a putty knife. I'm jumping ahead of myself here right now. I don't want to jump ahead of myself because most people on these YouTube videos do that. They won't go through any intimate details, and I'm all into that part because I had to learn most of this myself. They just like to pour the pretty stuff and show the pretty table and show the pretty wood, show it finished, and bam, bam, bam. Where was it at all in between when they were doing the work to show you how they did it? So you can use a putty knife to smooth it in. It's not real easy. I squirt it with soapy water, not to draw this out of the holes, and just smear it in like I like. And once it sets up, you sand it. It sands real easy. Sands easier than putting epoxy on and trying to get it off. It works a whole lot easier. But this thing will be ready in the morning, sometime in the morning, to go in the mold. The mold is ready and complete. And we want to move over to the mold. And I'll give you a few details about it. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. You have our website. If you hadn't subscribed, please subscribe. It helps me, and it helps people out there that want to learn about this stuff. Hello again, guys. I just moved a little further in my shop. This is my mold. It's on my aluminum angle iron. I got it clamped. There's no screws in here. Nothing of that sort. No nails, no screws, just clamped. Everything is clamped down with my aluminum trim with my Tyvek tape or a non-sticky tape that we use. I have to spray the inside of the mold with mold release. I have all the inside cracks caulked. You need to let your caulk set too. That's something else they don't tell you. When you get the mold ready and you're caulking all your cracks and your edges to keep from having a disaster with this stuff, they don't tell you to let this stuff set up overnight. They just, all you see is they caulk it. Next thing you know, they're setting the mold in it and they're pouring it. Setting their wood in it, their tabletop, and they're pouring it, and it doesn't work like that. You need to let this stuff sit up and harden up a little bit where you don't tear it or break it or get it all over your project. And we'll be setting our prototype in here in the morning after I finish sanding the bottom. The front side is finished. It's ready to go. Once I set it in the mold, I'll go ahead and take my tabletop and paint all my edges on the inside and let my drippings go down. I'll put a little extra, let it go down and get underneath the cracks of my tabletop. That way I can prevent some run-in when epoxy is poured, where it won't run up under the table. It's less work for me after I take it out of the mold. So When I paint my edges, that'll be shown tomorrow when I do it step by step, where people will understand, and you guys out there wanting to do this stuff, you'll understand it clearly. Something that sometimes we don't get the privilege of seeing all the stuff behind the scenes of getting this stuff prepared. And I'm a firm believer in getting it from 100% from the start to the go, because there's a lot of people out here that like to do it. I get a lot of calls on my personal phone, not from the website, from people in our county and other counties wanting to know what happened to their epoxy, why did it do this, why did it do that, and it's the same thing every time. You know, you start and you learn it from step one all the way to the end, you're still going to be stumbling and falling. There's a lot to learn about this, and I'm still learning after all these years. So this will be getting prepared in the morning for us to set our prototype in, and I'm hoping, keep your fingers crossed, that everything goes good on this, and you'll be seeing it in the morning as we're doing it. You'll be getting a good bird's eye view of it, and I hope you enjoy it. So it's Big L, 10-4 over and out. Am I still getting tape?
Yeah.
All right.